Welcome back to Caesars Palace for the 6th annual National Heads Up Poker Championship presented by GoDaddy.com. This has not been a tournament for the faint of heart. Dramatic finishes, brutal suckouts, and red-hot aggression is the name of the game. Let's see how the rest of our quarterfinal matches play out. First up, 2007 World Series of Poker champion Jerry Yang takes on poker and TV celebrity Annie Duke. Annie, in that last match, you really put the sick in Wasika. How are you going to top that?
I honestly, first of all, I hope I don't get into the situation where I have to top it. Let's just start there.
Right.
And I hope I never have to be under that much stress again in my life. That was something.
All right, Jerry, you're always known as being quiet and classy at the table. Something tells me you're not going to be so nice to Annie's chips, huh?
At a poker table, you would you can't be nice to your opponent, so don't take that personally.
Okay. Good luck.
Thank you very much.
And at our feature table, it's the old-time amateur against the old-time pro. 2008 November 9er Dennis Phillips meets the legend himself, 1976 and 77 World Series champ Doyle Brunson. Doyle, you know all those young cats were saying, oh, I don't think Doyle and the old school guys are going to be in the finals. Well, you've made it this far. They're not around anymore. What does that say for the old school?
Well, it tickles me because I've been listening to that stuff, you know, and I never did agree with it. And, you know, I feel like hadn't played in 3 months. I feel like I just broke out of jail and I'm enjoying myself.
You're a free bird, right?
Yeah.
All right, well, good luck. Dennis, go back in time 2 years ago. Who would have thought you would have made so many TV poker tables and sitting across from Doyle Brunson?
Like I've said before, I haven't stopped smiling in 2 years. This is pretty awesome.
It's a pretty good ride, huh?
It is.
All right, well, let's get the cards in the air. Good luck, gentlemen.
Craig Ummer alongside Ali Najad, second half of the quarterfinal round of the 2010 National Heads Up Poker Championship.
Oh, by the way, Doyle, this is my brother.
Yeah.
The fix is in.
Been there before.
Sounds like something Slim would pull.
Yeah.
Each player with 160,000 in chips, blinds at 1 in 2,000.
Where is home, Dennis?
St. Louis, it is. I'm out here a lot now, but it's still St. Louis.
Could have guessed that one.
Nice hat. Dennis takes a look at Queen Deuce, limps in.
The hat a little nicer than the hand.
Doyle checks with 8-4. Brunson pairs his 4. Phillips flops a wheel draw. Check, check. Phillips pairs his queen.
He's got the lead in the hand now. Doyle checking a second time.
That's 2,000.
Dennis bets 2,000. Quick call from Doyle.
Can't just give Dennis automatic credit for having an ace or a queen or even a 5.
Phillips queen's best. Doyle bets 6,000.
That's 6,000.
He's trying to represent a flush here, or possibly having hit a king, maybe even a straight on the end. This is going to look really strong to Dennis, and he mucks the best hand. That's an excellent example of not being passive. Doyle seizing the opportunity there. That's why they call him the master.
As Doyle steals that pot, we'll steal a look at our tournament bracket. Eric Seidel and Scotty Wynn already through to the semis. Now these 4 attempt to join them. Dennis Phillips and Doyle Brunson in the hearts bracket, and Jerry Yang and Annie Duke underway at table 4. Blinds 1 in 2,000 here as well. Annie Duke with that incredible match previously against Paul Wasika. She looks at ace-6 suited.
What a treat that match was. Meant so much to Annie as well.
Raises to 4,500.
She's had such a tough go of it in this event prior to this year. Things looking up so far, though.
10-9 for Jerry.
High call.
He calls. Always so studious, isn't he, Ali, at the table?
Yeah, he looks like he's ready for a wedding. like a regatta. His yacht's out in valet.
He's wearing his Wimbledon whites. Yang flops an open-ended straight draw.
Check.
He checks.
And he's sizing up the continuation bet, settling on 2/3 of the pot.
Raised it.
Jerry meticulously raises to 18,000. and Annie folds.
Pro-type move there from Jerry Yang. Check raising with the draw instead of playing passively. I gotta say, he's a better player now than when he won the main event.
Jerry Yang focused on stacking his chips right now, but the bigger picture shows Eric Seidel already onto the semis. His opponent there, Scotty Wynn, who knocked out Jason Mercier. Across the draw, 4 players remain, carrying a varying degree of credentials, but all honing in on the same goal, a spot in the semifinals here at the 6th Annual National Heads Up Poker Championship. Back inside the Caesars Palace Tournament Poker Room at our featured table, blinds now 1,500 and 3,000. Our GoDaddy.com pocket cam shows Dennis Phillips ace-10.
Let's make it 8,000.
He raises to 8,000.
5 more, right?
Ace-7 for Doyle. He'll call.
Dominated heading to the flop. Don't want to hit an ace if you're Doyle.
Both players catch a piece of the flop. Dennis with the best of it. Doyle checks.
Great flop for Dennis. Top pair, top kicker, and he's got Doyle in terrible shape. Doyle's got middle pair, and his ace is no help to him here, unless, of course, he hits running spades.
Dennis bet 11,000. Doyle calls. 9 of hearts, no help to Brunson.
A second overcard to his hand. He checks over to Dennis.
Phillips bets 17,000.
Into a pot of
Check it
38,000.
at St. Louis against Texas over here.
Texas in rough shape in this showdown.
Doyle calls. Queen of diamonds, Phillips 10's best.
Just getting uglier and uglier for Doyle, who checks the river. That card hits a lot of straight draws, a third overcard to the 7. Dennis shuts down behind him and shows the winner. As it turns out, the queen earned Doyle a free look. Wouldn't have liked seeing a third bet there.
So Eric Seidel and Scotty Wynn have already advanced to the semifinals. Now 2 matches left to determine who's going to join them. First, 2-time main event champ Doyle Brunson, and the 3rd place finisher in the 2008 main event, Dennis Phillips.
Doyle Brunson is a guy who some people have said is past his prime, but he's steamrolled everybody so far in this event and proved them wrong. Dennis Phillips, meanwhile, is a guy who tends to overvalue marginal hands. I think Doyle's going to value bet him as such and steamroll one more round into the semis. I like the cowboy hat over the baseball cap.
Okay, so you've got Doyle advancing. What about 2007 main event champ Jerry Yang? Does he have what it takes to beat Annie Duke?
No disrespect to Jerry, but I really don't think so. That said, if Jerry is going to get by Annie, he needs to gamble before the flop. Don't let Annie outplay him after the flop. Annie is coming off one of the most exciting matches in the history of this event, and you might be tempted to think that that's got her winded. I think it's got her energized, and I like Duke all the way through this year.
I call.
Jerry's called Annie's raise to 7,500. By the way, partner, I was only asking you to give me a quarterfinal prediction, not that Annie was going to take the whole thing. That's very bold of you.
Yeah, I'm chasing. I'm stuck. My picks haven't been going so well, so I figure a parlay is the only way to get even at this point.
Yang pairs his 6, Annie with the flush draw.
15,000.
Jerry with a pot-sized bet.
I like this. He's leading into Annie, taking control of the pot, not just letting her have position and control.
After her call, Yang adds an open-ended straight draw.
Now, Annie didn't press her flush draw on the flop here. It's a scary call for Jerry's 6s. The fact that he's got the open-ended straight draw is going to make it easier to fire a second barrel, but it's still definitely a gut check.
Yang bets 35,000.
Math time for Annie Duke. She doesn't know she's 32% to win the hand here, and she's getting away from it. That's a pretty conservative, tight fold early on. If she saw Jerry's hand, she would call, but she probably figures the flush is the only thing she can bank on being good, and as such, didn't get the right price.
I have a feeling it's going to be a long match,
Yeah.
Annie.
Hopefully not as long as my last one.
Meanwhile, Dennis Phillips playing like he's in a hurry. Big lead over Doyle Brunson. Close to 100,000 in chips. 8-6 suited for Doyle. He raises to 7,500.
Seemed like a bit of trepidation on Doyle's part there if I'm sitting in Dennis's seat.
Pocket fours for Phillips.
I'll call.
He calls.
I would have thought that delay by Doyle pre-flop might have tempted Dennis into a re-raise.
Phillips flops a set and checks. Doyle bets 13,000.
Standard continuation bet, even though he has complete air here.
Dennis raises to 33,000.
If anyone at home is wondering why Dennis wouldn't slow play a big hand like a set, pay attention to the flop texture. 2 hearts and a 10 and a jack. A lot of flush and straight draws out there. 8, 9, king, queen, hearts. You don't want to let a scary card hit the turn and not know where you're at.
Inside and outside, it's the same story. Temperatures and pressure on the rise in the quarterfinals.
What's harder, being a parent or a poker player? Like a parent, like by far.
Definitely being a father and being a parent.
With 4 kids, like you realize pretty quickly that you don't have a whole lot of control.
Being a father of 6, wow. That's really a tough responsibility.
You actually have control over quite a bit of the things that happen at a poker table.
Playing poker, you're just sitting there and just